You hear a lot about millionaires in the United States. You see these flashy headlines that a record 24 million households have a net worth over $1 million. That sounds like a ton of people, right? But here's the reality check that changes everything. Having $1 million net worth is absolutely not the same thing as having $1 million in your investment account. That headline number counts everything. Think of it like a car's sticker price versus what's actually under the hood. The sticker price includes your house, your cars, and maybe a boat you take out twice a year. When you strip all that stuff away and look at the actual engine, your investable savings, the picture gets drastically different. In fact, it becomes shockingly exclusive. For every 100 people you see walking down the street, maybe only 2 or 3 of them are actual retirement account millionaires. Today, we're diving deep into the official data to figure out who's really in the 7-figure retirement club. We'll look at who these people are, how they got there, and what you can learn from them to build your own financial security. Let's get into it. First off, let's blow up that 24 million number. While a record number of households have hit that $1 million net worth mark, a huge chunk of that is what you could call paper wealth. For a lot of these households, a massive portion of their net worth is the equity they have in their primary home. A house is like a giant block of ice. It holds a lot of value, but you can't just chip off a piece to buy groceries. Once you subtract that illiquid value, there's often very little left in liquid, investable cash. This is where we have to talk about the difference between average and median. You hear it a lot, but it's essential here. The average is easily fooled by mega fortunes. Think of it like this. If you have a room with 9 people who have $100,000 and 1 person who has $10 million, the average net worth in that room is over $1 million. But that number tells you nothing about the reality for 9 out of the 10 people in there. The 2022 Federal Reserve Survey of Consumer Finances, which is the most comprehensive data we have, shows this perfectly. The average retirement account balance for families was about $334,000. But the median, the number right in the middle, is way, way lower. The median investment savings for all American families was just $87,000. This tells us that while a handful of people have insane balances, the typical American is working with a lot less. That's why we have to ignore those flashy millionaire household headlines and focus on the numbers that actually matter: dedicated investment savings. So, who actually has $1 million or more saved specifically for investment? Let's look at the data from the big players. For 401k, and IRAs, according to Fidelity, which manages millions of these accounts, the number of 401k millionaires has been growing. In the second quarter of 2025, the number of people with $1 million or more in their 401k hit a record high of 595,000. This was a big jump, thanks to people saving consistently and a strong stock market. At the end of 2024, Fidelity reported 537,000 401k millionaires. Now, 595,000 people might sound like a lot, but let's put that in perspective. There are over 160 million workers in the U.S. This means a 401k millionaire club represents less than half of 1% of the workforce. That's like trying to find one specific person in a packed football stadium. It's an incredibly small and elite group. So what does it look like for everyone else? Let's break it down by age using the latest comprehensive data from the Federal Reserve. For those under 35, the median investment savings is just $18,880. For ages 35 to 44, that number climbs to a median of $45,000. From 45 to 54, the median balance is $115,000. For those on the cusp of investment, ages 55 to 64, the median is $185,000. And even for those in early retirement, ages 65 to 74, the median investment savings is $200,000. Do you see the trend here? Even as people approach the finish line, the typical person is nowhere near $1 million. Surveys show Americans think they need around $1.46 million to retire comfortably, but the median for the 65 to 74 age group is just $200,000. That is a massive gap between perception and reality. It's like packing for a trip to the moon, but only having enough fuel to get past the clouds. If these numbers are making you a little anxious, stick around. In the next section, I'm going to share the 3 most important steps you can take right now to get on the right track. And while you're here, if you're getting some value from this breakdown, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button. The data is pretty clear. Saving $1 million is incredibly difficult, and most people just don't get there. But why? It comes down to a few big reasons. First, and maybe most importantly, is the issue of access. You can't save in a 401k if your job doesn't offer one. A recent study found that about 47% of private sector workers in the U.S. don't have access to an investment plan at their job. In total, that's about 59 million full-time and part-time workers who can't save for retirement through their jobs. The problem is even worse for lower-income workers. Second is the death of the pension. As recently as March 2024, only 15% of private industry workers had access to a pension plan, where a company guarantees you a check for life. That number has been falling for decades. It's like your employer used to be the pilot of your retirement plane, guaranteeing you'd land safely. Now, they've just handed you the keys and a flight manual. The responsibility has completely shifted from the employer to you. You are now the CEO of your own investment. Third, savings rates are just too low for most people. The good news is that total savings rates are hovering around 14%, which is close to the 15% that a lot of advisors recommend. However, this average is boosted by high-income earners. The reality is, many people who do have a plan don't contribute enough to see real growth, especially when they're young. And finally, there's a huge psychological barrier. When you feel like you're behind, it can be paralyzing. It's like standing at the bottom of a massive mountain. You look up at the peak, feel like it's impossible to reach, so you decide not to even take the first step. And that is the biggest mistake of all. Okay, we've established the mountain is high, but it is not unclimbable. The data on the few who do hit that $1 million mark shows a clear blueprint. These aren't lottery winners. On average, 401k millionaires are around 59 years old and have been saving in the same plan for about 26 years. They followed a simple, repeatable formula. Here it is. Asterisk step 1. Consistency is king. Start now. Asterisk. The single most powerful force in finance is compound interest. It's like a tiny snowball rolling down a very long hill. It starts small, but by the time it reaches the bottom, it becomes a giant, unstoppable boulder of wealth. The secret of the wealthy isn't some complex trading strategy. It's time and consistency. Let's say you're 25 and you start investing just $300 a month. Assuming a modest 8% average annual return, you have over $878,000 by the time you're 65. But if you wait until you're 35 to start, you have to invest more than double that, over $670 a month, to reach the same goal. The best time to start was yesterday. The second best time is today. Automate your contributions and treat your future self like your most important bill. Step 2, maximize free money. This is the most important rule in personal finance. Never leave a 401k match on the table. It is free money. It's a 100% guaranteed return on your investment. It's like your boss offering you a pay raise and you saying, "No, thanks, I'm good." The average employer 401k match is about 4.7% of salary. If your employer offers a 5% match and you contribute 5%, they add another 5% for you. You've instantly doubled your savings. Not taking a match is like lighting a pile of cash on fire every single payday. Step 3. Invest appropriately and aggressively when you're young. Fear is the enemy of growth. Keeping your retirement savings in cash, especially in your 20s and 30s, is like putting a race car in your garage and never driving it. It's safe from crashing, but it's also guaranteed to go nowhere. You have decades of the market to recover from any downturns. The vast majority of investment millionaires didn't time the market. They just invested in low-cost, diversified index funds, the financial version of not putting all your eggs in one basket, and held on for the ride. As you get closer to retirement, you can shift to be more conservative. But when you are young, time is your greatest asset, and you need to let your money work for you. The dream of investing a millionaire feels like it's part of the American ethos. But as we've seen, the reality is that the club of people with $1 million in actual retirement savings is far more exclusive than most people imagine. The median savings for people nearing investment is less than a quarter of that goal. But the point of this video isn't to discourage you. It's to give you a realistic perspective and a clear path. The data shows that reaching financial security isn't about a secret stock tip. It's about starting early, being relentlessly consistent, capturing every single dollar your employer match, and investing for the long term. So forget the flashy headlines about millionaire net worth. Focus on your own savings rate, your own plan, and your own consistency. That is the proven, boring path to building real, lasting wealth and achieving a comfortable retirement. Whether that final number has 7 figures or not. What's your biggest investment question? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.